Awesome. All right. We are live. Tiffany, how are you?
Hey, Brandon, I am so good. Thank you for having me here today.
Of course, it's my pleasure. So before we get started, I'm going to give everyone a little bit of a background on who you are and how we met. I actually, for some people might know that over the summer we spent a couple weeks, my family and I spent a couple weeks in Long Beach, California. And we were there because my mother-in-law lives there, but also because I'm trying to expand, or I'm not trying, but I am expanding our business out into other parts of the nation. And one of them was Long Beach, the Southern California area. And I decided I was going to go to some networking events. What do I know best? I know how to get in front of people, talk to people, meet people, build connections and relationships. So sure enough, I went on some meetups and I found this networking group that said it was Boom Networking. I was like, awesome, this sounds great. It was $25 for the breakfast, which I love paid events because people are more serious about it. So I showed up. Sure enough, it was a Boom BNI networking group. And I was a little surprised, but actually it was a fantastic surprise and turned out to be great because I met some awesome people like Tiffany and a couple other people like Tony that are going to be able to build some relationships and help each other grow our businesses and all over, the United States and also in the Southern California area. So Tiffany's joining us. It's morning time out in Southern California. How's the weather out there?
It's feeling a little humid, and I know that's probably a laugh to you, but I swear global warming is real because over the last 5 years, the humidity and heat have gotten worse in Long Beach. And I'm like, I thought I ordered a California, but in general, it's nice. I think it's supposed to be like 80 today or something.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm jealous because it's still like in the high 90s over here. So, let's kick it off first. I know we're going to talk about how to add value for the clients and about giving gifts and such, but tell people a little bit more about yourself and your background and what you do for people.
Totally. Okay. So this is amusing. Hopefully it's amusing to other people too, and not just myself. But I've done a lot of things. I'm passionate about a lot of things, which is actually awesome because for a lot of my life, I had a hard time having a good time, having fun. I dealt with depression and still struggle with that. But now I'm just so excited about so many things, and I like to share them. In terms of background, though, this will kind of give you, I guess, an insight into my personal background, history, and personality. When I was in preschool, Montessori, which is the best school. Preschool is the best school. That should be a hashtag. When they go around and they're asking everybody, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And everybody's saying, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a police officer. I want to be a doctor. Guess what I said?
What?
I want to be a clown. So dreams do come true, apparently. Other background, I have a bachelor's in liberal arts, mainly because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. So it was like, okay, I've taken all these classes. How can I graduate the quickest? Go. I've worked as a waitress. I've been a flight attendant for JetBlue. I'm a real estate investor. And now I like to consider myself a fun curator and a gift resource.
Nice. Awesome. So that's interesting. Like, did you pursue your dream of becoming a clown at all?
We have some sirens. I'm trying to.
That's okay.
Okay. In a way, vicariously. I actually have a friend who's a real life clown, and he's a kick. He's a lot of energy. You got to be ready for it. But he's great, and I did have dreams of being in Cirque du Soleil, and so I used to do sports acrobatics. I grew up doing gymnastics. I was never like awesome or great, but I really enjoyed it, dance and gymnastics. And so then sports acrobatics, I believe it's now an Olympic sport, but it wasn't at the time. But yeah, it's basically, if you've ever seen like the partner yoga type of thing where they're holding each other up, it's kind of like that. And I competed. We went to Dayton, Ohio, and I got to compete. It was a very small competition, so whatever that's worth, but it was still really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Yeah, when I was growing up, I wanted to be a pro basketball player, because I grew up in Chicago and Michael Jordan was a big deal when I was younger. And so, but I realized that my skills weren't really up to par with what a pro athlete would be. So I had to swiftly switch my dreams to doing other things. But I can appreciate that. That's very cool though. Like you never hear of clowns or people wanting to be a clown. So
I know everybody's afraid of them.
They are. Yeah. I mean, I like clowns. I'm not really freaked out about them, but I had a friend who, my next door neighbor actually, his mom was big into clowns and she had pictures like all over the wall.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah. And like those little porcelain dolls that were clowns. Really yeah. Like I had nightmares. I remember when I was younger, like the clowns coming alive and coming after me.
That part's no fun, but there's room for good and bad, scary, Absolutely. Not bad, scary clowns, depending on your preference. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I'm also a sparkly wine mermaid. This is my mini me, I wish.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
And as far as basketball goes, I feel ya, because I also had dreams of playing basketball. My father crushed those dreams by saying, at 4'11", you're never probably so little shot of reality there.
You never know though, but yeah.
I could start my own league for people 5 feet and under.
Absolutely. I know somebody else who would play. So, let's shift the conversation a little bit over to talking about gifting. And one of the things that I really appreciated when we met one-on-one together was just your passion and what you were talking about, how to provide gifts for people after they're done. If you get a new client or you want to say thank you, obviously you can put together a gift and send it to them. So what are your thoughts on that process?
All right. So can I start with a few statistics first?
Please.
About marketing. Awesome. Okay, so I will be reviewing my notes here, but some interesting stats about giving client appreciation gifts from a 2013 survey by ASI said that on average, 68% of gifts have the company's logo on it. So I understand why people do that, but I think there's a missed opportunity there, because for one thing, if you give somebody an amazing gift, they're not going to forget who gave it to them, right? Like you're always going to think of that person when you look at that gift.
Absolutely.
So, of course, though, I mean, there's ways to be more subtle about your branding. You can put something on the bottom, or you can tie a tag to it and make, maybe a little card becomes a bookmark, and so they'll see your name and your contact info, right? But I think there's actually a better opportunity to really stand out, because, gifting is supposed to be about the recipient, not you. So I think you actually are building relationships better if you don't necessarily personally brand it, especially for like real estate agents and I guess really any business. So I think there's an opportunity to give better there. And also, if we think about timing, like the majority of gifts, when you hear about corporate gifts or business gifts, are given during the holidays, right? Because that's a popular gift giving time.
Yeah.
So for one thing, I think that A, that's great, but B, you're now trying to stand out in a sea with more fish in it, basically. And it's not necessarily something that really makes them think that you were thinking hard about them, because they may think, well, yeah, but you're doing that to all your clients, so it's nothing special about me. You don't take time to think about me. So doing it during other times that people might not expect to receive a gift from a business person would be like birthdays, anniversary. Maybe that their kids just made some state championship for a school. Like you could send something for their kids or their wife, and I mean that'll really make you look like a rock star. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I love this idea, because I've said this a ton of times, because you're right. Like people get gifts all the time on the normal occasions, right? Holidays, even birthdays are a little bit of what you consider the norm. Like you go out of the box, they're going to remember you more in the sense of, if you do it on, let's say, the 4th of July, you send them something for the 4th of July or Thanksgiving, because you talk about wine, and we'll get into that a little bit, but like, what a great gift to send to somebody is that like they get a free like box of wine or a couple bottles of wine for Thanksgiving because most people drink wine during that time. So, just help them out a little bit, make their life a little bit easier, either by allowing them to drink and take away that anxiety that comes with being with the family. And
#drink responsibly.
Yeah. Yeah, throw your keys into the bucket or into the pot and you'll be fine. But
did you say into the pie?
Huh?
Did you say into the pie?
Yeah, sure. I didn't say pie, I said pot, but we could
I
say
like pie.
Yeah. Call it Uber, whatever it is. And then you mentioned branding with the gifts, and it is, I've worked with promotional product companies before as clients and also for other things. And there's always a time and place for that branded material. But like, you're absolutely right. Like, I think in some of those studies that ASI produces, that it also talks about the perceived value and how that resonates and how people remember you,
right,
and remember your brand. And so if you're giving them a gift that is at a perceived value of, let's say, like $50 or $75, or even like, let's say we go up to $1,000,
right,
give them a big gift. Do you really want to put your logo on that $1,000 gift? Like, does that really make sense? And you're right. Like, they're going to remember that regardless, especially if you're giving them something that's going to be useful. And as long as it's not too much liquor, they'll remember it. So,
yes, it's true. And obviously, if know your client, right? Know it would bring them joy, and if wine would not be it, then don't do wine, but do something else, right? Do something. And so, like, really, the point I want to get across is, that we really need to think about how to keep top of mind with our clients, and that it's really about the frequency of outreach. There's like the marketing stat about 7 to 8 touches that you need to make to seal the deal with somebody. That's a lot. And I don't think, in my experience with meeting people are not that good at follow-up for the most part. Probably top salespeople are, but in general, people are busy. And we're all bombarded with so much social media, video, right, that we're doing right here, emails, like, and just being able to be plugged in, right? Like 24/7. It's people don't remember as much, right? They're getting too much input.
Yes.
And so they need to hear from you more often so that they can get reminded about you. And they're busier than ever, and they need to be reminded, as I said. So Forbes they posted about a study by a company called Bright Funnel, and they were saying that now it takes 52% more touches to seal the deal. Now, I don't know exactly more compared to what, but it was just interesting because that wasn't really surprising. It's frustrating as trying to get the word out about who you are, but
yeah.
It's not surprising, I think, for probably anybody. People will say now, oh, Facebook, like, oh, you didn't know that? This interesting news about me? I posted it on Facebook, and I'm like, I don't see anything. That feed changes so often, and I'm not on it, 24/7. So, like, if you want me to know something, you probably have to reach out directly, which reaching out directly is another way to really make a client feel good, right? And like you care about them. So let's, I guess, move on to, like, how do we cut through that noise? And so one way that this Bright Funnel company suggested was, if you want to get a wider reach and be of value to somebody, write an article for them, an educational article, and get PR that way, right? Get it published in a publication. Maybe you can get your business linked, and you're adding value because reporters and things are always looking for help with sources or information or articles. So one site that I use for that is Haro. I don't know how it's the acronym, but Haro, helpareporterout.com, which can, a lot of times I know we're kind of focused on real estate agents today, but I've seen articles about real estate on there looking for tips and things all the time. So that might be a little hidden gem if you're not doing that, agents. So FYI on that. They also suggest that you should use podcasts and video, as we've probably all heard. So good on us right now, right? And also, like, when you're giving updates and things, when you are being a producer of content, then, like, really make sure there's value in it, right? Like, you want your clients to look forward to getting something from you when it's, whether it's an email, something in the mail, you want to make their life better and enhance it, not add to their stress level, right? And I know that's something that probably a lot of people struggle with. I just read an email last night that somebody was like, oh, I haven't sent an update in a while because I really want to make sure I'm adding value and I didn't know exactly how to do that, so I've been resisting. And I'm like, me too. I really want to add value, and I'm having a hard time figuring it out. So hopefully this will be valuable to somebody in some way. And also, the Bright Funnel was saying there's kind of like the new marketing, and probably that's partly social media, but which that's something that you help out with, right? Like that's your big thing. So I think just mixing maybe the old stuff with the new stuff is good. And can we move on? Do you mind if I talk a little bit about like cost and people going like, okay, all this sounds great, but I don't have $1 billion marketing budget?
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna bring up a point later, but yeah, go.
Okay. So the answer is it will cost less than you think. Even a personalized card counts. Whether you do handwritten, whether you would love to do handwritten, but you think, yeah, but I'm never actually going to get to that if I'm honest. I provide a service that can help with that, like on demand through an app. It's super cool. But, you also don't have to farm out these touches to everybody. Like a good way to start, especially on a limited budget, is go back to past clients who already know you, like you, and trust you, and ask them for referrals. Start with just keeping in touch with them and letting them know that you appreciate them, right? And as you make more touches, one, they're probably naturally going to think of you if they hear somebody with a need that you can solve. And also, like, you like them, you have a relationship too. And, people like to help each other. So that would be a tip, like nurture the hell out of your existing clients. Absolutely.
And so just on that point real quickly, is that I actually know a couple agents that do that really well. So one, I know in Chicago, Michael Sell, he's a friend and I've known him for a while, and he has built his business strictly around client referrals. But the biggest thing he does, and I still have never seen anyone do as much as he does as far as client appreciation. That's really everything he does. He has a budget, but he does things like ice cream socials during the summer, right? And and again, to your point, does it have to be big? No, maybe invite like 5 people. Buying 5 people ice cream really is not going to break the bank.
Right. And if you can invite people who you think would be like synergistic or benefit from knowing one another, even better, right? Like that's the value.
And that's the other point, is the other agent, he does stuff like that, but he'll do an ice cream social, or he might do I'll buy you coffee. And then how he does, he's a real estate agent, but he actually does it for his strategic partners, his network. And so he'll invite people that are other business owners and bring them together. And there might be like 8 or 10 people who are just, grabbing coffee, talking, casually and networking. And it's great. And I've met some good people through them that had some opportunities. So it's just a smart and, low cost way of just getting more people in front of each other and helping them out. So, and, you mentioned nurturing too. So the other things, the offline stuff is great. The other part is if you can even do that and bring it online, you can set it up automatically by using email or even text messages. That's becoming a big popular avenue. More people read their text messages on average than the emails. But even though people aren't opening up their emails, if they let you into their inbox, if they say, hey, come on in, you can, once you're in there, you're golden. You've actually gotten in there, because it's hard now to get into people's inbox. When they allow you in there, 2 things happens: that they might not open up, and they probably won't open up all your emails, but just seeing your name in that inbox is like, oh yeah, I remember Tiffany sent me an email, and I remember the headline said tips on how to grow my clients, how to grow my business by providing gifts. And I was like, and if something comes in my head, it's like, oh, I want to provide a gift to this new client. Who do I call? Oh yeah, Tiffany, because she sent me an email. So these are things that you can do, and you can kind of combine the both together, both online and offline, because having an omnipresence, being everywhere, is extremely valuable, because like you said, people's their attention span, because there's so much information, is all over the place. So if they see you on Facebook, they see you in person, they go to your social, they go to your ice cream social, they get some ice cream, and they see an email, they're going to remember you a lot easier than if you just maybe sent them a note every once a year or something like that.
Right. Or a Christmas card that everybody else is sending with, if nothing's personalized about it. I'm like,
Exactly.
Please, people, stop wasting the trees. Like, stop killing trees for this. I know you weren't thinking about me, right? Like,
Yeah.
Save a tree. But I mean, obviously, I appreciate that people are trying to stay in touch, but I think there are better ways to do it.
Absolutely. Yes.
So would you like me to talk a little bit about the ways that I can specifically help?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So as I mentioned, I have a product that will allow you to send personalized gifts and cards from an app, or you can do it from a website. And that's pretty cool, because while handwritten notes are great, and if that's all you can afford to do it, like, that makes a difference. People don't send those anymore, right? Every time I get one, I'll leave it out for a while so that I can just appreciate it and look at it and reread it and remember, that somebody appreciated me and was thinking of me. So those do work. But if you just know, like, I'm busy, I don't have the time for that, then my cards product, Send Out Cards, would help with that, because, as you said, you can schedule them, and then I can even help with the implementation. Let's say somebody's like, yeah, that sounds great too, I'd love to do that, but I know I'm not going to get to it, right? Like, I can also help manage that for them. So just FYI on that. And they can find out more information about that if they go to my main website, peaceloveandwine.com, and then click on the link that says Send Out Cards and Gifts. You might, if you're on mobile, you might have to go to the menu and see the drop down.
Sure.
So again, that's peaceloveandwine.com. But now I would really like to move on to the super exciting fun part, and that's the wine, because I haven't met a real estate agent who doesn't like wine.
Or a person.
I've met a few, but but that just means there's more for us then.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That just means they're not fun. No, I'm just joking.
No, they're not fun. Alexa,
you can
stop.
be fun and still drink.
My Alexa going off. Sorry, what did you say?
I said I was like, they're not fun, but I'm like, they could be fun and still not drink. It's okay.
It's okay, but we also enjoy it when they do drink and have fun.
Responsibly.
Yes. So the cool thing about the wine that I'm currently working with, which is One Hope Wine, is that all the wine and gifts go back to charity. Like, that's built into their business model, is that everything has a charitable impact. They used to say that 50% of the profits would go to charity. They've changed it a little bit so it can be, what's the word, like, you can connect it to something real. So now, instead of saying like 50% of the profits, they'll say, this case of wine feeds 25 hungry kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or, this bottle helps a child get therapy for autism. Or this bottle gives a pet their forever home, So I love that. And the first time I discovered them, I was like, where have you been all my life? This is why did I not think of this? Like, this is the best idea. And I actually have a box that I can share so people can kind of see what that might look like.
Absolutely.
I mean, we sell things by the bottle. So if somebody wants something a little smaller, that's fine. The gift boxes start at around $59. This one that I'm going to show you. This comes in this cool box with magnetic lid.
Nice. That's awesome. Ooh, look at that.
This is the California box, so it comes with a bottle of wine and a fun little wine tote.
Yeah.
Caramel corn and a candle and also regular caramels. And a lot of times they're using smaller businesses for their products too, so I think that's cool, or
Awesome.
companies that are up and coming. Okay, now for the finale of awesomeness.
Yeah.
This one doesn't come standard with that box, but you can order it and upgrade it. Glitter.
Whoa. Is that a glitter bottle?
Yeah, that's a way to stand out.
Yeah, that does.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. So, quick, not to go off the glitter at all, but I just want to give a huge shout out to two things. Like, you talked about Send Out Cards. I've been a big believer of Send Out Cards and user for years. Like, I had an agency back when I started in 2008, and we started using Send Out Cards because that was one of the things I always did even before I started marketing, was just sending out handwritten thank you notes. And what's easier, like I'm all about simplifying processes and making it more efficient. And so you can actually upgrade or upload your handwriting, right, to send out cards. And basically it can be written in your actual handwriting.
Yeah, I haven't explored that, but yeah, that's a super cool feature. You can also put your own pictures on. So let's say you have a client that you sold a house to. You can take a picture of their house or like them getting the keys and then put that on the card and thank you for doing business with me.
Yeah. So like that would be cool. Even better, just not to like one up you at all, but like
please do.
Take that picture, put it in a frame and send it to them. That'd be even better. So they have it, but who knows? I don't know.
Wait, even better than that, you could do both.
Yes, exactly. But the second shout out I wanted to give was to One Hope because I was introduced to a friend who lives here in the Austin area, and she brought over One Hope. And I think it's just amazing, though. Two things. The wine is amazing. It's really good. My wife, who doesn't normally like Merlots, she loves the One Hope Merlot. We basically have a stock of One Hope wine in our house at all times because, one, it's not expensive. It's really good wine. Plus, you know that the money you're paying for it is going to a good cause, and most of the times you can pick the good cause that you're doing. And so, what better way to like not feel guilty about drinking than like to know that the money that you put forth towards drinking is going to a better cause? And so that's what One Hope does. And I think it's just incredible that you jumped on the boat and were able to help people, do this and use it.
Yeah, I love it. The idea just makes so much sense. And, if you're on a like super, super tight budget and you have zero marketing dollars, you'll find a cheaper bottle at Trader Joe's, right? I mean, you can even go $5 to get above the $2 chuck, but it's not as impactful to the world, to your client. And I forgot my other point, but basically, our basic bottles start around $20. That's a pretty good like wine price, right?
So yeah, and Tiffany, don't worry. Like when I talk to people, we practice, like we preach the fact that you need to invest some money in your business.
Right.
$20 is really not that much money to send a gift to a client that could ultimately be a value of, $1,000, a couple thousand,
tens of thousands.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so putting a little gift, putting a little money into it doesn't hurt anybody. And you need to do that because when you put that effort, that money, and you invest, because this is an investment. Your gift is an investment. So they're going to remember you. They're going to think of you more. They'll probably do more business with you, and they'll definitely refer you business. So, make that little bit of investment, get out of your own head of like, I barely have enough money. Well, make it work, figure it out, and you'll be fine. So we practice and preach that quite a bit. And so don't worry about people who don't have budgets, because those are people that are not going to make it very far in business in the first place. So, not to be rude in any way, it felt like that might have come off rude, but whatever, it is the truth. So,
and you have to start somewhere. So start where you are. And if this isn't it, then fine. And if you're like seeing something of value here, then consider it. Right.
Exactly. So, is there anything else you wanted to add to all this, Tiffany?
I could probably go on forever, and so I should probably stop. But I did want to mention the One Hope wine. So again, just because you can never have enough glitter.
Yes.
Let me talk about the glitter for a few seconds. So they come wrapped in plastic. The glitter bottles do. They will flake. So that is something to consider. Some people are really afraid of glitter because it can stick to things and be hard to get out. We also have a new bottle that they call the shimmer bottle. It's not quite as sparkly, but if you didn't have them side by side, you wouldn't know. It's actually a little bit less expensive, and it doesn't flake off. It's like a wrap or something. These are hand glitters, so that's another like extra special part about them. Nice. But the sparkle, or the what did I say it was called? The shine. Shimmer. We have glitter and shimmer. So those are two things, just FYI. And again, I was gonna thank you for mentioning like that the wine is good, because I think that's the question I get is like, oh, that sounds really cool, but like, does it actually taste good? So just so everybody knows, One Hope is made in collaboration with Robert Mondavi Jr. And that's a really big name winemaker, right? It's a well-respected name. Mondavi's been in the business for a long time. So, and how he got involved, it wasn't like they were begging him to come, sponsor or rep them. So just a little background on One Hope. One Hope started with 8 co-founders, that's a lot for co-founders.
Yeah.
They were all kids like newly out of college working in the wine industry. And right now we're in the 10-year anniversary of One Hope as a business. And 7 of those 8 co-founders are still with the company today. I think that says a lot to get that many people to be able to be on the same page.
Yeah.
Decision-making wise, I mean, that's amazing. So those are some of the things that I really like about One Hope. But and my point going back to Mondavi was Jake, the head CEO, I believe, was at a trade show of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And Mondavi came up to him and was like, hey, like, how can I support you? I love what you're doing. Like, I want to be a part of it. So that's kind of how it started.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. It's always good to have someone who knows what they're doing in your corner, especially someone who's well respected in the industry. So that's fantastic. So Tiffany, thank you so much. Before you go, let everyone know how they can get a hold of you too. So make sure they can get in touch with you.
I would love to get in contact, or have you get in contact with me if you want to talk about wine, real estate deals, whatever, because I can talk about all those things. And you can reach me at, again, peaceloveandwine.com is the site. You can then email me at info@peaceloveandwine.com, all spelled out. I finally released another podcast episode of the Peace, Love, and Wine podcast.
Nice.
I did that yesterday. It's been a thing that's been on the list for months, so I'm going to try to get more consistent with that. But that's geared towards women. Guys have found it, fun and entertaining too, but it's really meant for women entrepreneurs who value sisterhood and creative living and stress reduction and just, self-improvement, getting better in life and business. So I would love if you could check that out and leave me a rating and review if you like it, because that's how more people get to hear about it.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Well, we'll leave all that information, the links in the description or comments below. So I appreciate it so much. Also, just for everyone, obviously we're Lewin Media. You can go visit our website, www.brandonmlewin.com. That's LEWIN.com. And quick story, we do a lot of lead generation for real estate agents, also for lenders. And we actually just had, in other businesses too, but predominantly in the real estate industry, we had a realtor that took one of our courses, how to generate more home buyer leads online. And he implemented it on Thursday, got his campaign up and running. In 2 hours, he got his first lead. And then, and then he's had about 5 leads since then in total for about a week period of time. And he put 1 under buyer contract. So,
awesome.
Yeah. So this stuff works. Yes, absolutely. And we'll have a video testimonial coming up soon. So if anyone's interested, make sure you can leave a comment in the comments below, or go ahead and you can go visit our website and schedule a free consultation there and check us out. So thank you, Tiffany, so much for coming on and doing this. I really appreciate it. And for everyone, if you haven't checked out Tiffany, go check her out, but also make sure you check out the send out cards on there, and definitely One Hope Wine. It all goes to a good cause, and it's really good wine as well. So
yes, and you can access both of those from that main site. And also, I just wanted to let people know that we're talking about doing a fun meetup for real estate agents in the Southern California, Long Beach area. So keep an eye out for that, everyone.
Awesome. All right. See you later. Thanks, Tiffany.
Thank you, Brandon. Have a good day.
You too.